Alright, it's time to make my big comeback onto YouTube. It's only been about 3,000 years since I've uploaded, and I don't intend to make it 3001. Time to write a video. Hey, wait, what is that? What? I should probably explain what happened there. So let me take you all back to a time when things were simpler. When things were nicer. That's right. The summer of 2018. And I'm objectively correct there, okay? You can't prove me wrong. Anyway, by that I meant I was simpler and nicer. And back when I was simpler and nicer, back in 7th grade, I was thinking of writing this play, right? And I thought I was gonna be so cool, and I would have all my friends together, and we'd all like produce the play. As you just saw there, I had a literal seizure from the mere sight of looking at it, and today I'll explain why. This is the story of a typist guide to thriving in showbiz, and how that was an utter failure, and how I am a changed mid-pubescent boy. Okay, we're just... Oh, what, you didn't think I would take this seriously? This is the most serious part of my life. So imagine, if you will, me in 7th grade. Don't worry, I can help you out here. Good times. Alright, anyway, so I had the bright idea. I was sleeping. It was like 10 o'clock at night. I was just like, hey, what if I write a play about a guy writing a play about a guy writing a play? And you know, I bet you know, this idea has been done many times before. I just thought mine would be the coolest. And it wasn't. It really wasn't. So I read the first few scenes, and I contact my friend for the purposes of this website. We'll call him F. So I reach out to F, and he's just like, hey, this is a good idea. Let's work on this. Bad idea. He should have rejected me right there, and I would have had no self-esteem to continue on. But he said yes. So throughout the entire spring and throughout most of the summer, we were writing this show, and eventually turned out to be a 24-scene, 50-page play. A full-ish play. And we were really proud of ourselves. Little did we know it had a ton of grammatical errors and plot holes, and I wish it didn't exist. So basically, summarizing this whole thing, this is about a guy named Walter, and he's just trying to create a play in a week. Problem is, he's like kind of not a very nice person, and he doesn't have a lot of friends, so then he doesn't get publicity, and eventually he fails, but then he succeeds, and then everything is okay, and there's 116 grammatical errors. Oh my god. Oh, you thought I would take this seriously? This is an absolute joke. So it is now fall of 2018, so it is my 8th grade year. I walk up to my middle school drama teacher, and I'm just like, hey, so F and I have this show, and would you like to help us produce it? She goes like, sure, because she has to be accepting of our learning endeavors. This was definitely a learning endeavor, all right? So there's this meeting that I went to. It was me, F, the drama teacher, and the assistant principal. And the assistant principal reads through the script, or at least she says she did, but I don't think she really did. And she's just like, hey, good job, guys, but it's a bit too long. Could you guys make it like 30 minutes or something? And of course, F and I were like furious, because like they wanted us to shorten our play. That's like, you know, giving birth to a child, right? Except on a much lesser scale. So you give birth to a child, and it's beautiful. And your doctor looks up at you, and he looks you straight in the eye, and he's just like, you know, I think it'd be much better if you cut its limbs off. Probably a bad comparison. So anyway, we shorten the play, of course. But then right after we shorten the play, F and I just look at each other and we're just like, what if we just don't? So we don't shorten the play. After that, we held auditions and we had our cast. So then began the most fun part. Rehearsal! Why? I'm just gonna get straight to the point. The rehearsals killed any hope I had that this show would succeed. Well, at the first rehearsal, we didn't have anyone. We didn't have a lot of the people who I casted who came to the first rehearsal. So we just sort of played around for 2 hours, which isn't the best use of our time at all. But we did. And I want to say that was like basically what happened for most of the rehearsals. You see, when two middle schoolers are directing a play, nobody listens. That's just how it works. So nobody really listened to us. And it was also our fault too, because our organizational skills were middle school quality. So we didn't get much done either. And this kept happening for a few months until we got to our first tech rehearsal. That was one of the best, worst days of my life. Our drama teacher was gracious enough to give us a spotlight, and if we wanted mics, we could have had mics, but I just said we didn't need it. And we had like costumes and props, and the lead actually brought their typewriter from New York, and it was like from the 1940s, which is the era that I wrote the play in. So it was really like legit. So I sort of threw all that away at tech rehearsal. We tried to get a full run through of the show, and it didn't work because of lots of reasons. The first reason why our tech rehearsal failed was because most of our actors didn't fully memorize their lines, and it's kind of my fault because I didn't really push them at all. But it sort of took the tech out of tech rehearsal, so we just sort of had a line memorization thing going on. And some of the actors did really well, but like, you know, how well can you do for a middle school play written by middle schoolers? So the second reason why our tech rehearsal was a total train wreck was because I decided to completely change the blocking on tech day. So we had this idea, right? Let me see if I can actually pull out one of the drafts. So here's the stage plan. Yeah, it looked pretty complicated. So these are the chairs. So our idea was to have the entire play in the audience area, which is crazy. And then we had the stage up there for like 2 scenes. And then our entrances and exits were from the 4 doors in our cafeteria. Also, those are my legs. Get those out of here. And it was just too outrageous of an idea. So the audience, I checked the chairs. The audience couldn't see from the floor because it wasn't raked like, you know, this big boy stage. So, you know, you couldn't see anything unless you were in like the first 2 rows. So I had to completely change the blocking for the entire show. And I mean, it kind of worked, but you know. That crumpling was like sort of ASMR now, looking back on it. That did some weird things to my ears. Anyway, the third reason why our tech rehearsal failed was because, I don't know, it just had a weird vibe of like, I'm stressed, but at the same time, I knew this wasn't gonna work. For like most of the rehearsal, and at the end, it gave the entire cast plus us like this huge talk about how serious we didn't take this, and how we would have another chance after the spring musical, but we didn't take that because it's way too long of a time without rehearsing. So Typist was just sort of left in the dust, and after that rehearsal, there was nothing at all. We even had posters and we had a show shirt idea, but none of it happened. It's kind of sad now that I think about it, but you know, once you realize in part 4, it was a total joke after it. So this is my favorite part of the process, not writing it, producing it, you know, rehearsing it, but making fun of it, because that's the most fun part. If you're wondering where my hat went, I threw it out because it was making me warm. And no one likes a warm boy. I think I made this awkward. Oops. So this was during the spring musical, right? And people were, you know, making fun of the show, which is great because it made me feel better about myself, a lot better about myself, because after the first tech rehearsal, I went home and I wasn't very happy. As a matter of fact, I was sad, you know, not the best, you know, because it was my dream to have that play produced, and after working on it for the better part of a year and having it not happen was pretty sad. So yeah, the lesson here is if you fail at something, make a joke out of it. Hey, so that was my harrowing experience called A Typist Guide to Thriving in Showbiz, and I'm totally not gonna write a sequel to that one. I really hope I don't have the bright idea to make a sequel out of that one. So that was my comeback, guys. Me sitting in a chair for 13 minutes and talking about my life story and how that was a dumpster fire. So, yay. Please subscribe to my channel because I need validation that my content is to your liking. And I'll see you guys in another 3,000 years with another 13-minute video. Oh, my... Ah! Oh my god! Okay.